High frequencies, everybody. Last night I was in and out of so many different realities. I do want to tap into the dream where I was led by a guide. We started off on a street that I grew up on here in Memphis as a little girl. And he took me to the end of the street. And on the end of the street, it was this man who was selling fruit, but it was really just a lot of watermelons. And I'm talking about just watermelons just everywhere. And I was like, at first I was like, this is the street I grew up on. Like I was telling him this. Like he didn't know. And I was like, wait a minute, turn me back around. And I turned around and looked down the street. I was like, yeah. And we came back around. It was kind of like a third eye view as well as first person travel. And I was like, I could see this man. It was like we was off and viewing all these things. And I saw this. I said, he's selling watermelons. I was like, what is this about? But while it felt current, it also felt like it was in the past. Like this is something that occurred on this street before we lived on the street. But it was being shown to me. And so I was like, yeah, I said, I've been wanting to garden on the land that we grew up on, that I grew up on down the street. And I said, it's interesting that he's selling fruit. He's giving back to the community because this is a food desert. And so he took me inside of the area where the man was selling the watermelons. And then it was like a portal. We jumped to somewhere else. So we ended up being at this exclusive restaurant. And he took me down. I was like, why are we here? He took me down. We came through the door. Took me down the back way. And down there is where people were seated. It was like very high-end restaurant. And yeah, it was a orchestra that was playing with this artist. I'm not even going to name the artist because I don't want to get anybody distracted with that. But it was an artist performing, and it was an orchestra. So he didn't even perform all of it, but it was more so the music and the orchestra. And one of the ladies that was in the orchestra, I knew ended up being one of my students. I'm like, oh yeah, I know her. And I waved. And then we were sitting at the table. And the guy, which was male energy in the dream, he was talking to someone else at this table. And I was turned around. It was like this older white man in front of me, and I was behind him. And he was, telling me things, asking me questions. He was trying to coerce me into doing different things to move up. He was like, and it was like to come into wealth or whatever, come into some type of money. He was trying to get me to do things, and I was like, no, that's not me. Like, I'm good. No, I was just listening to him. I was like, no. So then the guy took me from there. We were walking out. It was a lady that came in with her son that I knew and sat down. And I was like, it's interesting. Oh, yeah, I didn't go to the part where I was looking into this painting. And inside the painting, I saw the word prime. I started to, know the word prime was in the painting. And I don't know what prime means, but it was there. And so this lady that I know came and sat down with her son. Then he takes me to the front. And there I was going to put my shoes back on. I was looking for my shoes. I'm like, where are my shoes? So I was looking under this couch or whatever this furniture was, trying to find my shoes. And I couldn't find them. I'm like, where did I leave my shoes? So I pulled out one that I thought was mine. I was pulling out all these different heels. They were all like heels. One of them were a low heel, and I was like, no, that's not mine. Another one was like a stiletto. I said, I think this looks like mine. I pulled it out. I said, well, where's the mate? And I'm looking for the other shoe. And I pulled it out, and then I put them on. They were like open toe heels. with the straps that go across, that go around, string around the ankle, and you tie it up. And they were like this goldish bronze color. And I was like, these not the shoes I was talking about, because the shoes that I was thinking about are some shoes that I have here in this reality. They're like a pinkish silver color. And I said, these not the shoes. I'm like, where are my shoes? I said, well, I'll put these on. So we walked from there, and it ended up like we was running. And I was like, okay, I'm running with these stilettos on. But we go back down, like to the restaurant, and I end up being in going through another portal. And this portal, I see a friend of mine, we're having a discussion, and then the lady is there with the son, and she's like talking in the background, like telling me things about him, but she's off to the side, but she's telling me things about him. So I was like, what is going on? So his phone was out. Something happened on his phone, and he pulled it out, and then she touched a button on the phone. And then we go to the back, and I was like, what's going on? What's this? Da, 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 da. Why is she doing this? And he was like, are you upset that you just upset because I didn't take the $100,000? And I'm like, I said, I didn't even know about the $100,000. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't even know anything about this. So anyway, from there, and at this point, I don't know where my guide was. Like, it's like the guy ran off once I put the gold bronze shoes on, and I didn't see him anymore. And then I get dropped down. It was like I was hanging from this huge elastic cord, and it just easily dropped me down into this forest. And it dropped me down to this forest, into this sleeping bag. And I get out the sleeping bag, and that's when the guy that I know, he does martial arts and warrior training and everything, he was there. And he was like, there was a snake in that sleeping bag you just dropped down on. And I was like, what? I said, there was a snake in there and I got in it? He was like, yeah. He said, he said, it's on your back. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm grabbing like it is. So I take it and I throw it. And when I throw it, it lands on somebody else. And I was like, oh my God. I said, I didn't mean to throw it on you. I was just trying to get it on me. And I don't even know who that was it got thrown on. So I'm, while I was trying to get it off me, I was spinning around. And in the air were these about 4 or 5 different, they look like little baby snakes. They or tadpole size baby snakes. I'm talking about, they weren't no bigger than this, and they were green, and they were like just in the air, just swirling around in a circle in the air. It was weird, and I ran in between that. And I smashed them on my arm. It was on my left side of my arm. And when I smashed it, it was like I was trying to, because the snake that was on my back bit me. And when I smashed them, it was like I was trying to kill the venom from the snake that bit me, using them, smashing them. I don't know. It was very weird. But when I did that, I looked and I was showing my friend that was telling me I fell into a bag with a snake. I was showing him my arm. I was like, look what's going on. So when I was looking at my arm, it was flaring up. If you know how you get bit by a mosquito or whatever, and it inflames your skin, like you can see your arm inflamed because it starts to rise, your skin starts to rise up, where you can see the inflammation of where you've been bit. Like that started to form on my arm, but it started to form in the symbol of the Ankh. So the Ankh symbol started to form in this elevated portion of my arm from being smashing the venom on my arm, but also I could see like my vein through my arm was turning brown, and it was going brown all the way up my arm. And I was asking him, I was like, what's going on? What is this? Is this bad? Like, what's going to happen to me? Is this bad? And like in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I got bit by a poison snake. I'm gonna die. And then it was like at that moment, I was like, he didn't say anything to me, but it was like I knew it. And then I just calmed down and relaxed, and then I woke up. So yeah, that was the dream. Going through various portals, taking me from the street that I grew up in with the I don't know the significance of watermelons. I will have to look up what I know. They have lots of seeds in them. They're big. I think they grow on the ground in vines. But went through that portal to a prime restaurant. And then I put on the bronze shoes that take me into a reality where I have a friend that says I was upset about the $100,000, and then I get dropped into a wooded area with a guy that I know that does martial arts and everything, and fall into a snake, and the snake bites me. I run into these baby snakes that's levitating and floating in the air. They're suspended. These little, they're just suspended in air. I run and smash them, and it turns into the Ankh symbol on my arm. A snake and the Ankh, right? Don't know what the snake bite means and the Ankh symbol means, but I was going through a lot of portals. That's for sure. So we got portals, we got golden shoes, and we have the snake and the Ankh. So if you decipher dreams, if any of this makes sense, and this was just one portion of the dream. I had went to sleep, woke up, and each time I went to sleep, woke up, I had different dreams. I promise you, it was crazy. I meditated. I did meditate before I went to sleep, which I always do, which gave me one dream, and then I woke up and I went back to sleep, and then I had this dream. So I'm sharing with you this dream, not the previous one from my meditation. And so if you know any parts of it, like ring out to you where you decipher any parts of the dream, the snake, the Ankh, the shoes, the prime restaurant, the orchestra, the watermelons on the street I grew up on, even the person that was taking me around. I really feel like he was my guide. He was like my third eye or my higher self. He was like me, but taking me through different portals of my brain or different portals of my bloodline of who I am, and allow me to see different things, but allow me the opportunity to level up, all right? And allow me the opportunity to work things out. And so when I put on the golden shoes, it was like, okay, now you don't need the guy right now. You have the golden shoes. You're able to, receive information now without a guide. You are the guide. You have the power. You get dropped down to this snake. This is that fiery Kundalini energy, and it was green. And so these I keep calling them tadpoles, but the little bitty snakes that were like little seeds suspended in the air, they were green. And it smashes on my arm, and it raises my arm up. It was almost like when you get a fresh tattoo and it's inflamed, and sore from that. That's what the Ankh looked like on my arm. It just started to raise up into and I was like, oh my God, it's looking like the Ankh. And yeah, any parts of this resonates with you, or you understand any parts of the meaning of this for me or the collective, feel free to leave a comment below or reach out to me and follow me on the Black Fit Witch Instagram page. High frequencies.